Okay guys, as promised, this is going to be the ortho for number 19. Looking at number 19, let's start with the front view. We need the overall width. We've got 1.75, and then we have these two radii on either side that are 0.375 each, which is also points, if you add those two together, that's 0.75, and then I wind up with 2.5. And that's 10 triangles. Okay? Squares, sorry. So I'm going to draw a line that's 10 squares long. Okay. Now, even though this is curved in the front view, it will look like a rectangle in the front view and in the side view. When you have an arc like this, and when you have an arc like you do up here in number 17, it's just going to look flat, except the view where it would look like a circle. Okay, so now I'm going to draw this little 0.25 piece and finish the base here. So this part here is 0.25, and it's just going to look like a rectangle. Okay. Now I need to draw the tower, and from here to here is 1, so I'm just going to go up 4. And I know that the width of the tower is 4 because the radius is 0.5, so that means the diameter is 1, which is 4 rectangles. And I'm going to draw this line rather light because I'm going to come back and add in the round, which is this curve here. That's the fancy term for that. So now I take my trusty circle template, and I know that this is the center of my circle. And I find my 1 inch, and I line it up using the dots on the outside of my circle. And I'm just going to draw that half. Whoops, my circle template's ripped. Okay. And now the little circle on the inside has a diameter of 0.5. And remember, your circle template is in diameter, so you don't have to do anything with that. You just need to lay down the 1/2 and draw the circle. Now I need to do the round. And to do the round, it tells me the radius is 0.5. So I'm going to come over 2 and up 2, and that's going to be the center. Okay. And if the radius is 0.5, that means the arc has a 1 inch diameter, and if I lay that in like that, all I need to do is draw, oops, scoot it over just a little bit, draw that line right there to give it the curve. Then I erase this piece here that I don't need, and I clean this up to make it look like as if it's one continuous line. Okay. So there is the front view of number 1, minus the hidden lines for the circles. So now let's do the top view. I'm going to skip two lines. I'm going to project up my width. And the drawing tells me that the depth is 1.5. So I'm going to go back 6. Okay. And now I need to draw the tower here. And keep in mind that the tower, if I'm looking at it from above, is going to look flat. It's going to look like a rectangle. So I know that it is 0.5 wide, and I know that it is 1 inch across. So it is going to be a rectangle back here that looks like this. And if you notice, it will line up with the edges of the tower here. To make the curves in the top view, we're going to draw what are called fillets. It's spelled like fillet, but it's not a steak. Okay. And it tells me that the radii of those is 0.375. 0.375 is 3/8, and double 3/8 is 3/4. So that's the number I'm going to have to use on here. So I'm going to find 3/4, and I'm going to draw just that little round, lining it up so that it's tangent on those two lines. And I'm going to do the same thing over here. Okay, and then I'm going to erase these corners. And so far so good. Now we just need to do the itty bitty circles. And the itty bitty circles are 3/8 from the corner and 3/8 up. So that's going to be 1.5 and 1.5. So you're going to have one there, and then there two. You're going to have one here. There should be 0.75 in between them, and if you really want to make sure, you can take your ruler and measure. And yep, that's 3/4. Okay. And if you guys are using these Alvin rulers, number 1 is broken up into 30 seconds, which can be confusing. So you can measure from number 1 to number 2. And I'll show you that again. So there's 1, and there's 3/4, and they're in good shape. And then if you want to see what 3/8 looks like, there you go. It's just halfway between 1/4 and 1/2. And then we're going to come this way. 1.75, which might be useful to use a ruler for. And there's 1.25, and over here at 1, that's where the center of that circle is going to be. So then you take your 3/8 circle, which is this little jobby. Oh no, these are 0.25. Okay, so they're 1/4 inch. So these are itty bitties. Make sure you hold your pencil straight up and down when you draw your circles. It'll make them much neater. Okay, straight up and down with the pencil. All right. So now let's do the right side view. And once again, this is just going to look like a rectangle. Now, I have not drawn these lines here. Those are points of tangency that were created when they did the 3D model here. You can ignore those. You can ignore them down here. You can ignore them in number 17. Just ignore them. Okay. But I do have to bring up this point. So my top view is actually going to look like this when it's done, minus the hidden line for the circle here. So let's do the side view. I'm going to project over the height, and then I know the depth is 6. And I drew that too big, but that's what erasers are for. Okay. And now I'm going to project over this corner here. Okay. And then I know that the depth of the tower is 2, so it's going to be 2 over here. Okay. And circles. So this guy comes across, hidden line, center line, hidden line. Okay. The little guys come down, hidden line, center line, hidden line. Same over here, but you're only drawing one because they're in line with each other. Okay. Big guy goes up. Right? And then the little guys need to come down here. So to figure out where they go, I'm going to go over one, and the center is going to be here, and I'm going to come over 1.5, and the center is going to be over here. Remember I told you guys you can project depth to depth. That's how I know that. It's just easy to count blocks rather than trying to actually draw the projection box for something that's simple. You really don't need to do that. Now, there is one little problem with this drawing, and this is some advanced drafting theory for you guys. Up here, I drew this line, which is this corner. This line here, which represents where the scoop kind of meets the road, for lack of a better term, you really don't need it. This is what's called a run out. And you can symbolize that by giving it a little hook. And that's truly the more correct way to do it. We're going to put a center line on our circles. Okay. And you got to do center lines on the itty bitties. Do them the best you can. I know it's hard to draw on itty bitty circles, but it is doable. You might want to try using a 2H pencil. Sometimes it makes a cleaner line when you're doing itty bitties. Okay, and remember you guys have a racing shield, so you can clean up a lot of this mess. Alright, and there is number 19. Enjoy!